And next up at UFC Fight Night, Morono taking on Kavanagh. We've got Ernesta Kareckaite taking on Sofia Montenegro. And that was a big mouthful. And Carlos is going to let us know who he's got in this matchup.
In this one, I'm taking Montenegro to get done. I think she can fight on the outside with Kareckaite, using her high guard and her side-to-side head movement. Even though like she does eat some punches to get in, she takes some to give some. But I think that she'll get to the clinch, try to get Ernesta's like arms kind of tied up, and as I've noticed in one of her fights, like her arms tend to fatigue in round two. Like she comes out, as I'm talking about Ernesta. She comes out, she looks pretty sharp in round one. Punches look sharp, they look tight. I wish she would use her legs. You know, she has a whole lower half. She doesn't use her knees much, doesn't use her legs much, doesn't use her elbows. But when she throws her punches, they look sharp in round one. But in round two, they tend to have a little less zip on it, and they come out a little rounded. And I think that if Montenegro there can get a little clinch going, start trying to pummel a little bit, get some underhooks, force Kareckaite to try to, try to wrestle with her in the clinch, I think that it'll benefit her in round two. Either way, even if she doesn't do that, I've seen her start to fatigue. So I just feel that Ernesta, moving backwards, she doesn't have a lot of success with that. But moving forward, she neglects her reach. She neglects her height advantage, and she kind of falls forward as she's throwing her punches, so she does end up in the clinch a lot, and she's not very busy. She could throw in elbows and knees done to the body, but she doesn't tend to do that much. She'll break and then start to throw more of a box and heavy attack again. I think Montenegro does have to take some unnecessary damage, but she's tough. She's shown that in her Contender Series fight. She took some damage to give some damage, and I think she has a little bit more of the pop on her punches. I think she's a little bit more durable, and I think it's going to be a close fight just because she's going to eat some punches on the way in. But I feel that Montenegro is going to land the harder punches, the more decisive strikes. I think she's going to do a little bit more damage, and I think she's going to be the one to come out on top.
Yeah, I like Montenegro in this one. I think Ernesta's been very lucky inside the UFC so far, and I think when you look at this matchup on paper, I trust Montenegro to be a little bit more aggressive. She's got a lot of dog in her. She walks forward the whole entire time, throwing, winging punches, a lot of straight boxing approach, not necessarily mixing too much of the grappling in, not necessarily throwing any kicks, but that forward pressure is going to take away the kicks and the long-range strikes here of Ernesta, in my opinion. Like Carlos mentioned, Ernesta does tend to fall into the clinch a lot of times, kind of sacrificing that reach and height advantage that she possesses. And I think here, this one's just going to come down to the busier fighter in Montenegro. She's going to put up volume. She's going to get in your face. She's going to be constantly looking to land damage. When she does go for takedowns, she has nice outside trips, gets on top, she lands ground and pound, and she's always looking to just kind of beat you up. I think with Ernesta, even when she does fall into these clinch positions, she's not necessarily using her knees and elbows, and she's not really that impressive, in my opinion. I think realistically, the height and reach is kind of smoke and mirrors. I don't think she has the power advantage in this one. When you saw Montenegro on the Dana White's Contender Series fight, she went back and forth with her opponent there, but I think she got robbed. I think she has power in the hands. I think she can definitely win this one on the feet. And if it...
Look at him choke! Look at him suffer!
And I'm back and I'm alive. And yeah, as I was saying, Montenegro has a lot more power in her hands, and I think that's definitely going to be a big factor in this fight here. I think one of the deciding factors as well when I was doing my research here was that she did move from Argentina over to the PI in Mexico about a year and a half ago. I think she's going to be very well acclimated to the altitude here for this fight. Ernesta, like Carlos mentioned, she looks good in round one and tends to slow down as fights go on. So all sides here point to Sofia Montenegro here to get it done in her UFC debut, and I think she should have, I want to say, a late finish here. I think Ernesta's going to slow down, and Montenegro is a fighter that looks for the finish. You saw that on the Contender Series, and I think she got robbed, and she wants to get this one back. So in her UFC debut, I wouldn't be surprised here if she got a late finish against Ernesta, who, to me, has a little bit of pillow hands, even though her nickname is Heavy Hands. But I think Sofia Montenegro gets this one done in a big fashion.